Welcome back. We are now joining you for England-Wales. This is the girls under 18s. And there's the hooter. No hanging around getting ready. We are off. And Wales in the grey, England in the white. And we've got a vested interest in this game, Joe, haven't we?
Yeah.
On, tell everyone.
Yeah, so number one, she's at far link at the moment, Jessica Wright. I would describe her as a very, very, very talented player. She's also my little sister, so you might get a couple hints of slight bias towards her, but I'm sure nothing too overt.
Can I just say, again, there's nothing wrong with bias. It's just showing where you sit and what you think. I know all commentators are meant to be, we're all meant to be very, very, non-biased, independent, right down the middle, but I'm not a great believer in that myself, because it's not as if we're not allowed to wear our emotions on our sleeves. So good stuff. So it'd be great to see the little sister Jess and hear some stories about her. Yeah. And then we'll interview her after the game and get some about you. So do be careful. And there is the opening salvo of the game. And that was a classic example again of the half not allowed to run through, and Wales just let her go. You don't have to worry about her on defence. And unfortunately the conditions stopped that first one, but the girls, Wales, come again.
Yeah, and it was a good drive from England. They got from point A to point B very effectively. It's just that final pass didn't quite stick, probably due to the conditions. And maybe, those long passes, you might just have to take 10% off them to ensure that they go to hand. The winger was in acres of space, so could have afforded to maybe carry the ball a little bit further. But as far as England's confidence are, this is the perfect start for them, and at the moment looking very comfortable. And we'll just be trying to take it up a couple of gears, get some scores on the board early.
And both teams just choosing the singlets, and some of the subs on the side here thinking, don't we have any long sleeve kit?
Yeah, I'd be thinking the same, but to be honest, if you ask a lot of touch players, this is not far from what they would actually probably prefer to play in, because when it's that baking hot day, you are really under it.
Yeah, but it ain't. At the moment here, it's a tad on the nippy side.
Yeah, well, it's nice to dive in.
Yep.
You're not gonna absolutely destroy your knees and elbows the entire day, which is quite nice. And England force a early turnover from Wales. If they get a quick strike in, they'll be able to catch it off guard, but Wales able to organise a defence very quickly. Offside call given, player never hit the line, and England have a repeat set. And this is where you want to use your strike players. You've got 6 opportunities at the line to get your score. And there's England just staying patient, drawing Wales out. 32 short, dives for the line, touch is given. Slight clash of heads. And the ref would just stop it.
Went down, and that was Abigail Pritchard. But she's up and she's okay, and she's from the slide has got the marks to show for it.
Yeah, if you weren't awake now.
Yeah.
Well, if you
there's nobody not awake out there at the moment wearing a singlet in this weather.
Oh, lovely ball, lovely ground. Although I think the referees are going to call it for a forward pass.
Yeah, they have. It's very debatable, that one. I mean, you'd need you out there selling that to me.
Yeah, I think England can feel hard done by that call. I'll say that. We don't like to go against the rest too often.
No. I don't think the refs are always right. Sometimes they might not agree with us, but they're always right.
Yeah, I like it. And that is off the mark. Referee's hot on that one. And second penalty now that England have forced in the Welsh transition. And if you're studying that sub box for England, you're thinking, okay, so even if we don't convert, we know that if we can put the shove on, we will get our reward and we'll get another crack at the line.
Yeah. And here they go. Super comes round twice on the loop, then goes out wide, looking in that space. Over the top pass, and just not quite the hands. Good pressure from the Welsh defence there.
Yeah, to be critical, probably not the option to do there. It's first touch. You've got 5 other touches to play with, and yes, the space might be there, and I said it yesterday, if the space is on the wing, on first touch, it'll probably still be there on fifth touch. So you can take your time and, you know, strike through the middle and condense the defence first and then use the hands to get it out. But when you sacrifice the ball on first touch, especially when you've worked so hard for a repeat set, it's a wasted opportunity, and England will feel like it is that.
Right, now little sis comes into play. Jessica is back on, trying to make this team tick. And once again, they come up at pace.
Yeah, Jessica has a lot of experience, been training and playing with NQ over the past few months, and you know that I said it before yesterday about the boys 18s, and this morning at the boys 20s, is when you're able to have that top level experience at club level, playing against adults and playing a really fast pace of touch and getting the really high level training, you're able to then transfer it into this sort of setting with relative ease, because the pace might be slightly slower than what you're used to. So then you really see those players be able to use their composure and knowledge to then expose the weaknesses in the opposition defence.
Yeah. And you say Jessica plays for who?
NQ Rebels. Just finished the season with Crewe Nantwich, but played women's at NQ Rebels and NQ. They've also got the likes of Sam Thorpe, Sam Dixon, Cooper Bainbridge. I mean, I could go all the way through. The NQ is one of the clubs in the UK that has been able to flesh out some of the, you know, really top-level youth talents. It's a testament to the coaches, really.
Yeah. Excellent stuff. Is that one of you? You coach them?
No,
okay.
not me.
If you were setting yourself up.
No.
And there is the first try score of the day, and the privilege of Maisie Pollard gets it in the corner here.
Yeah, it's lovely catch and pass. Just recognise that if they can take the 32 shot, they engage the link. 1, 2, brilliant core skills, finish in the corner. Supporters are happy in the background. England are happy. They open the score 1-0, 7 minutes in.
Now, at this stage in the men's game, it was about 6-0. So
yeah.
England starting slower, Wales having better defence, one of those two.
Yeah, definitely. I think Wales have just been more stubborn in defence, and England have gotten over the line a few times. Just that final pass not quite sticking for them. They did find the one success. But England will be confident by the start. Wales now trying to reply, looking for the short side quickie. Doesn't quite happen. Touch comes in. England staying tight in defence. And the short comes in. Ball gets passed off. Now injecting some pace. Sells the dummy. Tries to go through the middle. But a good diving touch.
Good defence from England, just holding. You can see there's a bit of shape to them there.
Yeah, they want to promote the two middles and make sure that the middles make the touch, and then you can see the two links either side just sitting a little bit deeper to defend the space that is underneath the middles. And at the moment, England's defensive profiles are perfect, and they get their reward for it. They force a forward pass. Wales just struggling to create much in the face of the England defence, and England milking penalties at will at the moment.
Yeah. And the yardage they get from it is exceptional. So, you know, I mean, it's just like, you know, that turnover ball is worth at the moment around about 30 yards every time.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just the pace and the direction of England's transition. They're just able to eat the yards up so easily in the right positions to get the ball off the floor. Does make it hard to defend against, but at the moment it's a little bit static. Now some pace comes. They look for that ball to the wing. Tap back on the inside. Can they recycle? They can. Oh, unfortunate.
Just a little knock on there. Didn't quite come together.
Yeah, if that ball goes down, then they work the overlap really well on this short side. So, you know, England back in their skills even in the wet weather. Just shows the calibre of player that you've got on pitch at the moment.
The wind's picking up a little bit now as well, so that made those floating passes to the wingers, the long balls, that much harder.
Yeah. I mean, you can see by the flags in the background, it is blowing quite hard now. Wales trying to scoop through. They look for that pass. Half is caught, so it's early turnover. And England look to drive up the middle.
So they forgot to pack the walls to the gazebo we're standing in to protect us there nicely.
Yeah, we could do with that actually, although I do remember doing a Nationals, not here but at the Riverside Complex, and yeah, the doors didn't stay on very long.
No.
Jessica Wright scooping, looks back short side, ball goes, interception. It's a shame that the ball didn't go to hand, there was an overlap, and now Wales turn the ball over fast, trying to inject some pace into their transition, and do catch some of the England defenders offside, but that is off the mark, and England rewarded again for some good defensive pressure.
Yeah, that was, they were up on now. I mean, Wales not securing that ball on the floor each time, and it like on the mark, and it rolls, and say you've got to go from the mark. You can't gain an advantage from putting the ball down.
Yeah. England looking to strike, 32 short. Oh, big dominant shot in there. We love it. Just offside though, so England will get another set of 6, and it's a good time to remind you that if 3 penalties are conceded in succession on the line for the defensive team, then one of them will go for time. They look for that link play, they pass it out, really good covering touch.
Yeah, and just like lost their feet at the same time there, so couldn't dive under.
Yeah, Jessica Wright moving back out to link. I know she likes to run a certain play. Wonder if we're going to see it. Ball's moved to the middle. Now to far link. Quickie trying to get underneath the Welsh defence. Another dominant touch comes in. Just offside. On-field ref very hot on the offside line. That is 2. One more penalty for the defensive side, and one of them will go for time for the rest of the possession for England. Checks back inside, back outside. Jessica Wright takes the ball down, sweeper play, overlap. Can they execute? Yes, they can, and that is just sustained pressure, forcing mistakes from Wales, and England execute that ever so beautifully.
And is this the play that you thought Jessica was going to do?
No, she's keeping it for the time being, but I'll keep that one under wraps. But lovely platform for the sweeper play. And then the pass out to the wing, and yeah, one did go down early doors from the wingers, but no more since.
Yeah, Charlotte Lloyd with a really good link play there out. I think it was Eloise on the wing there. Couldn't quite see her number, and they span around quite quickly. Yeah, they switched out nearly straight after that.
Yeah, the defensive system from England is just to put Wales under loads of pressure. Now Wales don't have a touch, they've run out of touches, and it's an easy turnover for England.
Here we go, just from their own line. And this is the difference. We said this about the England, the under-20s men. The yards they get from the first turnovers, that pace coming through.
Oh, lovely. Can she go to the wing? Oh, touch just comes in. Maybe the dive was needed.
Yeah, I was going to say, a dive at pace there would have been one to save you.
Oh, very slight touch comes in, and it's hard to gauge when those are going to come. So England just taking their time. Tap penalty. That's an incorrect roll ball though, and yeah, referee's a real stickler. So the player who taps the ball has then got to pick it up, and that's not something you see very often when someone else taps the ball and a different player picks it up. But that's a let-off for Wales, and England now will be motivated to get the turnover, and they do. A very unsympathetic pass is fired.
So the one of the things that we're just seeing here is a little bit of the understanding of the rules or remembering the rules, you feel?
Yeah, but also maybe just rushing through your processes. Like, England can just be relaxed in their work and roll through it at the moment. Oh, and that's lovely. Just the pace sits the defender down. Iris Nazir able to ghost through a gap.
Really good, yeah. Good play. Just waited. Just hangs, looking. She's the option still out there. Remember, she started this play, comes back, and at pace. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Cavernous hole.
Yeah, one defender on the floor, and that's the result you get for driving at pace, because then defenders have got to change angle so quickly, and in the conditions, it's probably not what you want to be doing. And England are currently making the mistakes Well, they're capitalising on the mistakes. And I've got to say, England finding all of their success really in the transition. And because their transition is so direct, the Welsh defence can't get set, and then a penalty is given away. And then they are stressed at the line, and then another penalty gets given away. And it's that just accumulating pressure that is proving the difference for England.
And I see Jessica there, I was just looking, just pointing, telling people where she wants them to go. And then the transition all at the same time. It's all just seamless from England at the moment.
Yeah, Jess has got very good knowledge, and so do the senior players of this team.
Just unlucky there.
Sophia Lawton not able to reel that one in, although the pass was thrown behind her. And England at the moment, when they scoop through, and this is something we've seen from every single England side, I wonder if the coaches are in cahoots with each other. And they're happy to scoop from deep because they back their hands to the wing, and at the moment it's proven dividends.
It certainly is. I mean, there's lucky there. The pressure is all on the defence. England defence is there, but when they come forward, they are there in numbers. They're at pace. They're direct. They're in there, and as you say, they're scooping straight in, and they're not too worried about how far out they are. Offside.
Yeah, just a hard touch. So that touch was initiated on the ball rather than the player, and you can't be deliberately trying to knock the ball out of someone's hands.
Not to be caught doing it, you mean?
Yeah, there are a few ways.
Doing it.
I know a couple of people who get away with some heinous ones. Yeah, touches on the elbows and the like. But we love it. Good dive underneath, but I think the defenders are onside in this instance. Nope, referee disagrees. Score gets given.
Excellent. So one of the things that just used this opportunity as we talked through that try, I think it was Cara Edwards on here, is the touch itself.
Yeah.
And where that has to be on the body and how that works.
So touches can be made anywhere on the body. It can be made anywhere on the clothing, hair. You know, it could be the slightest touch, fingertip graze, or big shot. The nuances of the law come in when you're targeting the ball, when you're gaining an unfair advantage through maybe throwing your player off balance. But that's a fine line to walk because there's onus on both players to make the roll ball competitive, and the referees want players to win that roll ball, but you can't just go through and shove someone off balance as Wales go over for their opening score.
They do get it. They're on the scoreboard.
It's a lovely open side. I believe it's an open side quickie. It is. She gets the ball, actually dumps from about 10 metres out, so it's just the footwork. Fixes the defender, steps back on the outside.
Brooke Bevan opening up the score for Wales. Now, they don't have Wales written on their shirts. Now, this is part and parcel. I know the Welsh football team are looking to change their name.
Yeah.
Cymru, would you say?
I'm not.
Because my Welsh pronunciation isn't what it could be.
Yeah, I'm not going to potentially embarrass myself.
I'll do it for you then. No, thank you. Right, and so we've got them up as Wales, but that's a national policy now. They're looking to change that to the Welsh language, saying of Wales, or what Wales should be.
Yeah.
What we say is the English version of the Welsh name. So that's why if you're looking on, you think, why doesn't it say Wales on the back? It says Cymru. We'll try and have a word with the Welsh player straight after the game if we can't get little Jessica alongside.
Yeah, she might ardently refuse, actually, because this would be like her worst nightmare, I imagine, having your voice broadcast on the internet. And
you being the big brother, what more could you ask for than to teach you little sister?
Honestly, I'd love it, but I think I'd get it in the neck for a fair old while.
That's all right. Your mum looks lovely. She'll tell Jessica to behave herself.
Oh, Jess.
And just if we're talking about her, and unfortunately a little knock on there. We'll give that one a miss.
The hands have been so good, but just falling through the bread basket there, and just a bit of a slip coming in. No malice in that, so no hard touch given. Just an unfortunate slip at the roll ball. Wales just running a little bit lateral, allowing the English defence just to track across, having to dump from really far out. They're not in the red zone. They need to move forward. They've wasted a couple touches.
And they're running out of time, 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, and that's forward as well. So, It's those instances that when, rather than passing around in the midfield, because that's where you are, you're not in the red zone, you're in the midfield, someone just needs to get the ball down and go at the line. It's all well and good running strike plays, but you need to be running them in the correct areas rather than just trying to run them because that's what you know you want to run, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the hoot has gone, but we were in the middle of a play, and so we will see this play out.
Oh, go on, down the wing. Oh, I think it's going to be another. It's going to be another forward pass, and we can't end the half on a penalty.
Yeah.
So we will continue play.
So Wales got a chance. Could they? No, well, that's not a penalty. Oh,
Yeah.
that is half time. Knock on, and so 4-1 to England, half time, and. It's going in the right direction, Joe, isn't it? Looking forward to the second half. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. England sort of just working through their processes, not really doing anything too special, just doing their job, sticking to some basic structures in attack, which is working for them. I maybe just like to see a little bit less of the unforced errors. There was just one or two that were creeping in, and it just alleviates it. It counteracts all of your good work when you're forcing turnovers and then just surrendering the ball needlessly. So England can go up a few gears, and Wales, I don't feel like have done all that much wrong. They've just been, the space has just been executed really well from England. The only thing I might say to Wales is when you're in that line defence, you need to be hitting the line and then bouncing off it, because then you're painting good pictures to the referee and saying, look, I'm off the line whilst making the touch, so the defender couldn't have got the ball down. Whereas at the moment, just hanging on that line, I wouldn't be surprised to see some more dives come in from England to start exposing that.
Yeah. Well, second half on its way. Right. We are back and ready, waiting for that hooter. Just giving a 10-second call. And England 4-1 to the good. Looking to build on this. And Wales very keen to be coming back early doors. And they've got the turnover. And not really from a lot of pressure, just really therefore just coming onto the ball too quickly.
Yeah. The striking player there just arrives a little bit too early into the space. And England maybe could afford just to hold their depth when they're in their attack, running onto the ball rather than having to check the run. But they won't be too worried about that error. They'll just be focused on getting a turnover and then driving down the other end of this field. That 6-touch turnover. Something I've seen a lot actually from the teams this weekend is just losing track of that touch count, not recognising when 5th touch is coming, and then getting your strike down for the scoop and running, your scooping plays on like 4th touch and then having to create something from nothing. So, maybe something to watch out for is just that level of communication across the team of, look, this is the touch count, this is what we're going to do. You do need leaders on the field. Yeah,
and does the referee, is he constantly telling you the numbers?
He'll do his best. That's all he can ask.
His job is not to tell you 6th tackle.
Well, so 5th, yes. The rest of the touch count, less so. But when 5th touch is coming, the refs will scream 5th.
Yeah.
It's just, even if that is the case, if you've dumped the ball not knowing it's 5th and then the ref screams 5th and your players aren't in the right position to scoop, it doesn't really make much of a difference.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a catch-22, and England and some of the more senior teams...
So you can't rely on the ref?
No, you've got to be able to take that into your own hands and understand the touch count, because it does really stop all your momentum, especially when you're maybe driving down for a play and then 5th is called and you're like, oh, we were planning on taking an extra touch, but we're not where we need to be to run this scoop play. It does just stop that momentum.
Now, we use the word scoop a lot, right? And explain to everybody watching in, because what we've got is we've got a lot of people watching this today think, I want to play this, right? Because they're watching it and they're going, even though the weather's not great here today, they're going, I like this. This is non-contact, it's fast, it's good hands, it's athletic. I want a bit of this. And the scoop, explain the scoop. We mentioned about the halves earlier and what they represent. Give us the rundown on the scoop.
So scoop is typically used on 5th touch when you've got no other touches to play with and you're trying to get past the defensive line and look for the pass to the wing. Scoop is when the half comes to the roll ball at pace after the ball has been dumped, scoops the ball off the ground, typically one-handed, hence the name, and then we'll look to find a gap and fly through. It's one of those moves that's often used on the end of a transition to create separation. But England don't have to rely on a scoop in their transition because they can force a turnover in midfield, work their hands down the wing, and it's a lovely score to open us up in the second half.
It was excellent stuff here, and it is Elsie Fairn that goes over, and it was Elsie that got that try, the first try in the first half, as well out on the wing there. I think I gave the wrong name in the first half. Well, I gave an Eloise, but it's an Elsie. And it gets over in the corner. And that was a really good finish because she didn't have a lot of space to work with.
No, not a lot of space. 2 covering defenders. It's very easy in those situations to get sort of like caught up in the pressure. You got 2 people running, but no problem for her. She just pins the ears back, knows where she wants to go, knows how to get there, puts the gas on, and able to get the score over in the corner. At the moment, England looking really comfortable when the ball's in hand, running against a broken defence. Would just maybe like to see some. I'd like to see England be a little bit more clinical when they get their repeat sets. Apart from that, England can be very happy with the way that they've played.
And a slide in there, but went a little bit too early there on the slide. Wasn't quite there. Sophie Southgate. She'll build it again. She's looking again. And that time, the referee said touch.
Yeah, and that's a really good example of getting off the line to make the touch. Because the English middle got off the line, the ball was grounded on the boot before the line. So then it's an easy decision for the referee. The referee's like, there's no way you could have got the ball down because you've hit boot first. And it's those little pictures, those little nuances that the refs then start to give things in your favour because they're seeing those right pictures.
Right, England turnover. And this is what we were saying earlier about the efficiency of getting on those first 4 or 5 touches, a good 30, 40 yards.
Wales shutting this one down very well.
Yeah, and it's not happening now. So that's the 5th, and we're not across the halfway line.
Yeah, they'll have to scoop from halfway, which is not ideal, but Wales give away the penalty. And for all their good work, they've just undone all of it by giving away an offside penalty. And I don't even think it was the promoting player. I think it was one of the supporting defenders. And it's just a real killer, but that is, in the same breath, an absolute coach killer, because, again, you've forced the turnover, and then you've just surrendered the ball. And Wales will give the ball back to England, but the error count is creeping for England, and you do not want to let a team back into a game like this. This is one of those games where momentum is going to carry teams through, and you want to take all the momentum away from Wales if you're the English contingent.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment we're looking nicely at a 5-1 lead, but you know, two quick tries, and suddenly we're all talking about a different game, and they're saying that.
So good, so good. It's a lovely setup. They Aussie into the hammer. Oh, but I think the referee's going to give offside. I thought he'd waved it was good.
Yeah, the signals to the man in the street, me, that was he gave a try.
Yeah, yeah, and well, ref's always right.
No, ref's always right. He just sometimes he disagrees with us.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned earlier, but it definitely the signal looked like a try, you know.
Oh, lovely 32 shot, and that's a try all day. No stopping that. The pace is too much, and she gets the ball down before the defenders can even get onside.
Abigail Pritchard again, but yes, they have given it.
Yeah, lovely J line at the base of that ruck, so she arcs her run, so she's running straight past that ball, and the half can just pop it into space. No checking of the run, catch, extend the arms, get it down. Perfect design. England starting to make the pressure count.
And a J run because it's the shape of a J.
Yeah, 100%. So you start wide, you come round, and then you straighten up as you go past the ruck. Yeah, it's the most efficient way to get pace on the ball, and you also straighten up the line. And you know, you can run that 32 play from a lot of different angles. And
why do you call it a 32 play?
So, this is technical now. Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
So
we're ready.
Typically in touch, I think it originated in Australia. The wings are given the number 1, the links are given the number 2, and the middles are given the number 3.
Yep.
So a 32 is a middle, the number 3, dragging to the link, the number 2.
Yeah.
And then you've also got a 33 play, which is middle. So both middles coming together. And then in history, and some of the older heads in touch still continue with this pattern, you have things like 21, which is links dragging for wings, which is something you don't see very often anymore. But it was very prominent over the past 10 years. And something that's coming on a lot is the 23, which is link making the dump, stepping infield and receiving the ball back from the middle. So teams are really playing around with what can be used as an attacking structure, and it results in scores as you just seen.
As you say, very technical, and as the day goes on, I think more people, even myself, will pick up on that a little bit more. But it's great to get that, I mean, it's like it's a playbook, and it kind of like shows what the sport is, kind of like it's a little bit of everything. You're getting a playbook.
Yeah, 100%. And things like 32, 33, you'll hear me use the word short and long a lot. You'll hear me use the word hammer, quickie. These are all your sort of bread and butter touch moves. This is what you get taught when you go down to touch clubs. And it shows that the same structures that get used in social touch are just as effective at the elite level. It's just the pace and power and the personnel that are running them. It's just they level up and level up the further up the pyramid you go.
Yeah. We're getting lots of use the word sloppy turnovers at the moment, but that's the conditions here at the moment. I mean, it is, you can't quite see it on there. It's raining. It's swirling around. The wind's blowing. It's cold. Thankfully, I'm not wearing a singlet because I'd be even colder. I did opt for the shorts, thinking that it was going to be wet but warm, and I can officially say I got that wrong.
Yeah.
And quick jog back to the room might be and get myself another coat. But in the meantime, I'm going to persevere through here as England look to build on this 6-1 lead against Wales.
Oh, just another error creeping in. off the mark, not dumping the ball where she was touched, taking an extra step, and the referee's hot on those infringements. And again, England just gifting possession to Wales on too many occasions. And they might look back at this game and think, okay, look, we're up, we're relatively comfortable, but against a stronger side, we've given them opportunities to come back into the game. And yeah, it's just undoing all of their hard work.
Yeah, it is. You do very well to hide the frustration in your voice that you're kind of like, as you're seeing. And one of the things I always say, when I'm in the commentary booth, it's easy from up here, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is easy. But you can see these girls are giving it their all here at the moment, and they're just like, that final little bit of just concentration, that little bit of application at the end, and it'll clean this up nicely.
Yeah, definitely, and it's just those 1%ers, and especially, I've had the privilege of watching this team over the weekend. I've watched it once or twice, and yeah, good turnover there, good knowledge of the rules from Jess, just saying, look, that's not a good roll ball, that's her, and the referee completely agrees, and England get their reward. But I've seen this team be capable of not committing these errors, if that makes sense. So it's like, I just want to see them kick up a gear, because when they get it right, it's magical. Unlucky.
Yeah, but I think the touch before that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that gets given touch and pass. So the passer, it was in motion to give the ball to the winger, but the touch has come in just before the ball's been released, and that's rewarded to the defence for their defensive pressure.
So it was a drop then.
Pardon?
So it was a drop on the wing, yeah. I was trying to make get the winger off and go, no, it didn't matter. She knew there was a touch there, but no.
It's good pace, but maybe just needs to get the ball down a little bit earlier, because that's off the mark. And then just a couple turnovers in succession. Shows the weather, you can see the dirt, you can see the mud. And they look to run this. They switch into a hammer. They give the wrapper a space on the wing if she can find it, but the ball just goes to ground. The setup is lovely. It's just the final pass missing on that occasion.
And gives you an opportunity to explain the obvious, a hammer.
Yeah, so a hammer is a link. So, 32 is the middle hitting the line, but hammer, you just flip that on the head, and the link comes and drives from out to in, trying to find space through the middle. And all that happened there is the half that gave the ball just wraps around the outside, and the hammer, the striking player just gives that pass off. And it's designed to, that option is designed to expose the 2-on-1, which they did very successfully. Maybe the conditions just failing them as the ball goes to ground in that instance.
Yeah, didn't quite go to hand, but it worked there. So hammer is basically hammering through the middle, coming off the half, who's picking it up for you and go right. And normally that would be, just take it up, take the hit, take the touch, because we're going to reset behind you.
Exactly that. And England at the moment just not. Oh, it's a little bit of a hard touch again. So that one's a little bit more nuanced because of the angle that the touches come in. The dumping player has tried to split to the side, and the touches come in from the side, knocked her off balance. Well, England looking to run for the line and look for that similar play, trying to expose the overlap, because Wales are defending very tight, and after the touch comes, they get a little bit congested.
And yeah, definitely touch there. We've got South Africa playing on the pitch behind, because he's waving his flag.
That flag has been here all weekend.
Very enthusiastically. I think it's a South African flag.
Yeah, it's a Springbok.
It looked like a Springbok on there, but they're not Springboks anymore, are they? I thought they changed Proteus. I know that's obviously a different sport, so maybe they're still allowed to beat Springboks as Iris Nazir goes over, but we're coming back for the touch.
Yeah, and they run a link punish, which is just a quickie on the link, on the opposite link. They want to dump on the link, split on her outside, and then it's just a race for the line. But just running it in a very tight area, if I was running a link punish, I would move the ball open side and then flash it back, so you're drawing the defence out and away from open space, and then you can whip the ball straight back and then run the link punish. Whereas there, it was sort of all the direction of the play was going down the same channel. It allowed the Welsh defence just to close all those gaps.
All those doors were shut. And there's another one then, a punish.
Yeah, so punish is just the term for the quickie, for getting so the dumping player will get the ball down and split on the outside of the defender, receive the ball back from the half, and then it's just a race for the line. Touch has a lot of nuanced terms for words, for plays.
No, but this is great, because what we've got here, we've got me doing it for the man in the street, like myself, and yourself, anybody watching on, you know, and there's a big thing about American football, you know, do we teach, you know, when it's over in the States, do we talk to as if people don't know a thing about it? No, we don't. We take it that we've got an educated crowd, right? They know what they're talking about, and we then have expert analysis like yourself, bringing those people into the fold, and then people like me working it out for them.
100%, and I think it's important that people get the opportunity to learn more about touch, because it is one of those games that anyone can play. And you know, these are, if you turn up to a touch club for a month or two, these are all terms that you will start to become accustomed to, and you know, you'll start to then recognise the moves. And once you begin to play for for a considerable amount of time, you're then able to start seeing these things come to fruition on the pitch, and that's quite a nice feeling to be able to see it before it happens. Sweeper coming round. Link wrapping round the dump, touch is made, but that's 3 penalties in 3 penalties on the line for England, and a player goes for time for the rest of the possession. So what happens now is that English player will be told to stand in that far box behind the try zone, and England will defend this 5 for the rest of this possession, and that ball goes, but the sideline ref looks like he's going to give it forward. Does, so tries not given, but penalty for offside. The penalty count begins again. That's 1. And I've got to say, defending as a unit of 5 is very difficult, but England probably being helped by the weather, Wales probably not able to move the ball as quickly and as far as they would if this was a dry and hot day. But England defending tight as a unit, hitting the line and bouncing off it, that's much better. Can't afford to give away any more penalties. Defending as 6 is tiring enough, but defending as 5 really drains the legs.
That extra play, you just got to keep getting across. I mean, 2.5 minutes to go, and you're kind of like 6-1 up, but you still want to keep them to 1. There's the wide pass, the extra doesn't go to hand, so England get the turnover. Yeah, and I've got to say kudos to Iris Nazir there, because in that situation where there's 5, if you're trying to stick to the same defensive structure, you are the only middle in that situation. So she was up in the line trying to make as many touches as possible, and that allowed the links and the wings to sort of stick to what they would normally do. So yeah, it's just really good individual defensive intervention. And that was the end of the play. And
then the turnover comes just as I'm singing her praises. Just can't quite complete that set by getting the fresh legs on the field, but England will be able to put pressure on, as they were able to get fresh legs on, but not in the attacking sense. And now Wales will try and get fresh legs on for their attack. Just burning a few touches to do so. They won't have all that many to play with.
And they just brought the fresh players on, but there was a misunderstanding, and they went to come off, and then they stayed on, and then it looked like they had a dozen players on the pitch, and they got it right towards the end, but they just run out of space.
Yeah, well defended in the end by England, just forcing them down the blind alley.
And that's like you're saying, that's all about the transition being as smooth as possible. And, you know, maybe it wasn't there, and there's a little bit of misunderstanding. He was coming off, he was going on, and they lost that little bit of momentum.
Yeah, transition is a key area. That's superb hands there of Cara Edwards, I believe.
Yeah, and you can see that, you know, it was Cara Edwards, and she's done that play and straight off.
Yeah. She knows her job. She's like, I need to get this ball down so my players can get on the pitch, and then I am off, pal. Yeah. I'm not sticking around. That might be 6 more. It is. So that ball, as it was travelling from A to B, is knocked down by the defender. So England get a repeat set of 6, and 10 seconds to remain. Well, 10 seconds to go in this game. England want to finish on a high. They give the wrapper, feed it back inside, well recycled. Hooter goes, no touches. Let's create something from nothing. They look to go wide. Doesn't happen. They will get a penalty though for offside, so the game isn't over, and England will have one more crack at it.
Here they are. There's the number quickly, and it's there. And didn't look like. No, referee said he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Didn't take it from the line, so they go again. So this is the last play.
Go on.
They just put the cherry on it.
Jouet touch. One more. Oh, lucky. And that'll be game.
That is the final. I'll let you wrap that. I'm going to try and find somebody to chat to.
Yeah, it's a really good performance from England. Maybe not as vintage as we've seen from some England sides. A couple errors creeping in, but the wet weather does not help. In the end, they can be very happy with their performance, winning 6-1 over Wales. And Wales, as I said at half-time, didn't really do all that much wrong. Worked really hard in defence, got a bit of joy in attack, and Wales have a lot to build on for the rest of the day, and the weather conditions aren't really suiting to touch, but both teams can be happy with their work. Special shout out to Jess Wright. Got to big you up. Back on live stream later. 1:05, and we'll wait to get some personnel over for the interview.
Well, as you can see, they disappeared in the middle of the pitch. Nobody's interested in coming over. So next game coming our way. It's going to be South Africa against Ireland, and we are going to have a guest in the comms box as well from South Africa. So looking forward to that. Be with you soon.